dawn. Most of the city still sleeps. The streets are deserted. Just here and there life is stirring, and a new day begins. The road cleaners come on the scene. A charwoman goes to her work. And the milkmen are going their rounds. As Big Ben chimes 6:30, in the early morning mist, Tower Bridge opens and a ship enters on the first tide of the day. The first trains are arriving, with workers from the suburbs who will gradually fill the deserted streets. The tempo quickens. The rush hour begins. Buses and cars follow each other tail to tail. From Ealing to Ilford, from Highgate to Peckham Rye, London is like a giant anthill that has been disturbed by the probing stick of a passer-by. An anthill where the ants are 20 foot long, crowding on each other, crawling under each other, churning and milling through the streets. If, when you are in the Strand, you happen to see a man in striped trousers and a black coat, carrying something that looks like a purple laundry bag, you may be sure he is a barrister on his way to the courts. You may watch him as he walks past the policeman in the arched entrance of all the pseudo-Gothic stonework, the law courts. Some of the people in the streets are just as much a part of London as the famous buildings. Soho has become accepted as the cosmopolitan quarter. Here are newspaper shops where the papers are in many languages. Most Londoners know Soho as the district of narrow streets and strange smells, where it is possible to find good cooking much more cheaply than elsewhere. The cafes issue coffee mechanically and are surprised by a demand for tea. There is nothing so fascinating to Londoners as watching other people at work. Crowds will gather at lunchtime to watch cranes chug, chains rattle, and scoops rise swinging to turn and deposit their roaring cargoes. Middlesex Street, the famous Petticoat Lane, for whose name the puzzled stranger will search his street map in vain. The most crowded marketplace, rows of stalls, each selling precisely the same article, stand blandly without an inch between them, as if competition had never been heard of. Here there seems to be no management, no organisation. The stall holders make their noisy chatter, clutch their heads, wring their hands, and scream like children suddenly free from a nurse. At this eastern entrance to the city, the stall holders of Middlesex Street are the tumbling clowns who draw back the curtains on the solemn city play beyond. At lunchtime, the government workers of Whitehall migrate in clusters to the fountains of Trafalgar Square, and in summer eat poetically amidst the rippling sound of its waters and the graceful movements of its flights of pigeons. For the manual worker, the unpretentious, informal cafe. Park Corner. Here is a place that is unique in the world. Platforms are provided for people to stand and gesture and recite. They are not interested in the park. They gather together as soon as they have entered its gates. They congregate to listen, to heckle. They hold tiny meetings themselves. The connoisseurs wander from speaker to speaker. A dish of public vanity is spread before them. Politics, religion, sex, they all fling their challenge at the trees, the sky. The afternoon shoppers are the luxury shoppers. Regent Street, Knightsbridge and Bond Street are now animated. The shopping is not for meat, fruit and bread. Women linger outside the haughtily arranged windows and in imagination dress themselves in sequins and furs. It is the few who are flattered here, not the many. The Grand Union Canal is still amongst the most peaceful and romantic waterways in England. This canal runs through Regent's Park, and in recent years quite a tourist attraction has developed in trips. The canal's main purpose, however, is still commercial, and the barges and longboats can be seen chugging up and down. London's theme song is ever the endless roar of traffic. Dial 999 for police, ambulance or fire brigade. London services are constantly on call. There is a fire in a theatre, but within seconds everything is under control. These aren't the only uniforms one sees. There is also the pageantry of the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace and the Royal Horse Guards at Whitehall. At 5 o'clock until 6, London is full of sudden streams of workers, fortunately released. They pour out of offices, rush to catch buses, are seen disappearing down subways, hasten onto trains. They are one eager, hurrying mass. Odd individuals are left behind, men waiting for girls and girls for men. The theatres, the cinemas, the nightclubs, the cabarets are in full swing, but none can compare in intoxication and delight with the streets that hold them all. These are fevered with activity as they have never been before. Down rivers of light pour cars, motorcycles and buses. This play of light and shadow gives the evening its vitality. Piccadilly Circus now is a blazing diamond of light. This entertainment centre of the world is a quivering with scintillating brightness. Soon the tired-eyed crowds will stream out of the cinemas and theatres bound for home. London will be left to its own reflections, its own thoughts on the day that has been.